Weens, episode 92, starring London and Thomas, the podcast where they talk about movies. Today we're doing The Bag, number 2. The Bag is a bag of terrible movies that we pull from every once in a while. It's been like 23 episodes, so we decided we're gonna do it.
What? Let me look.
It was 69 was the first episode.
What episode is this?
This should be 92, I think. Or no, this might be 93. No, 92.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we're going to try to figure out a way to...
Am I going to be dead before I know it? Like, holy shit, life's just... That's a lot of episodes.
Yeah. So, anytime I listen to music from, like, any point in my past that I've, like, listened to or been a fan of, it just surges, like, a bunch of memories through me. And a lot of them are about, like, friends that I just kind of don't have anymore, and it makes me really sad.
Yeah, I feel that.
And it's not like anything bad happened with a lot of these friends. It's just like, you know, you just grow apart. And that makes me so sad. Because I remember high school. I'm like, yeah, these friends I'm going to have forever. And a couple of those friends I still have. But like the vast majority of them I haven't talked to in months, or I don't talk to on a regular basis. And some of these people I consider like my best friend at a time. And it's just like, fuck.
I'm right there with you. Like that's kind of like me and Garrett, who I've talked about plenty on this podcast. I brought him up by name. We were just super close, like in and like right out of high school, and then like we lived together, and like we just both like once my time at that apartment was up, like we both just kind of like went our separate ways. That whole group did. Mm-hmm. But I actually just got in touch with him a few days ago, so
yeah,
I try to like keep touching down every once in a while.
Yeah, and I do too, but it's always just like, hey, I'm gonna try to talk more, and I never fucking do it. I feel so bad.
I feel like that's something that like everyone goes through. So it's not like one of those things that a lot of people like hold malice over, but I get it. It's one of those just like, fuck, if I could just get over this virtually not impossible invisible wall here. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I'm thinking about that a lot lately. Just aging in general. Like I'm thinking about my body a lot lately, because like I'm a lot bigger than I was pretty much any point in my life. Because I was a little chubby in like middle school, but then I started fucking growing, and I had such a high metabolism that I was so fucking skinny. Yeah. And now I'm like, you know, I'm 250 now. Like I've lost a decent amount of weight since I started like trying to eat a little healthier and doing a little more exercise. And I don't think like I'm 250. I don't look it though because I'm 6'8".
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's weird having a grown up body. Mm-hmm. And it just, there's so many things that just make me feel weird and old, even though I'm not even 24 yet. I'm just like, oh.
No, I totally get it. Like, yesterday I was standing up, and I felt like I was gonna die, because my kneecap on my right side was just, like, dying. I'm just like...
Yeah. Speaking of dying, got my first vaccine today.
Oh, nice.
You got yours yet? Nope.
I'll get it eventually. I'm not anti-vax by any means, but I like to give it a little time. I don't think that's hopefully not crazy, but
yeah. I got mine today. I'll get my second one in 3 weeks, and then you'll see if I die or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You do anything else this week?
I watched a couple movies. We watched The Scanner Darkly.
I really like that one.
Yeah, so did I. And then I was like, fuck, that was a good movie. I want to watch a couple more good movies. So I watched Leaving Las Vegas.
Man, I almost rewatched it after you told me to watch it. I'm like, oh, because I remember loving that movie when I watched it, at least.
Yeah, I've definitely got my issues with it, but I'll save it. And then I watched another movie called Under the Volcano, which I thought was overall pretty good. Honestly, like looking at it, because that was the movie that Nick Cage, one of the movies that Nick Cage like based his drunk performance off of. And they're both just so good. Like, I was trying to decide which one I actually liked more.
And one has Nick Cage.
I have the tendency to lean towards Nick Cage because I'm more familiar with Nick Cage, and I think he just has that Cage charm.
Yeah.
But they're both outstanding performances. And it turns out I had recognized the Albert Finney guy the whole movie. I was like, what is he in?
Oh, he's in all.
And yeah, he's in a lot of things, but he was the thing I primarily recognized him from was Wolfen, which is that werewolf movie from the 80s that had Edward James Olmos. I did a review of it.
I can't remember if you liked that one or not.
I thought it was overall pretty good.
So incredible for a werewolf movie.
For a werewolf movie, yes. I think I gave it maybe a 6, but it was like a 6 or a 7. Somewhere floating in that range. Mm-hmm. I'd have to rewatch it again to nail the specifics down. But he was fucking fantastic in this movie. And I don't know if he's British in real life. I assume so.
I think so.
But he's not British in Wolfen. So I was just really thrown off. And he's got like that same dialect that like Jean-Luc Picard does. So that was also throwing me off the whole movie. But yeah, I really liked that one. I felt like the ending was a little bit sudden. Like it just kind of happened. I was like, oh, that's the end. Okay. But I don't know. But overall, I liked it.
Cool.
And then I watched these 2 movies. And I also started Days of Wine and Roses.
Oh, cool.
Which is the one with Jack Lemmon. Which is another one of the Cage inspiration movies for Leaving Las Vegas. And I got like halfway through it. And
it was a snooze fest.
I think I just wasn't in the right mood for a 60s movie when I started it. It was just a little too slow for...
Okay, so we're gonna... Oh! I had TikTok up! Oh! Now it's my fault this time.
But, double check. Okay. But yeah, so... No, that was pretty much what I did this week.
Cool. I watched some stuff as well. Scanner Darkly. I watched this movie called Primal Fear, which it's a very bad name for that movie. It's super generic and it doesn't really pertain to the plot very well. But it's like a courtroom drama with Richard Gere and fucking the guy, Edward Norton, young Edward Norton. He's like 28 in it or some shit. He's really good in it, and it's overall a pretty good movie.
I always kind of wanted to watch that movie, and then I remember I watched, like, a video. It might have been, like, an every frame a painting video, but I remember they gave away something about that movie, and I was like, drat. I wish I could have experienced that organically whenever I got to watch the movie.
But now you can, because you've forgotten it, maybe.
No, I remember.
Shit. It works pretty well, too. There were hints of it, and I was like, I could see them doing it, but it still worked pretty well. I also watched the new movie, Nobody, which is the action movie starring Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, yeah.
It's directed by the guy who did, like, Hardcore Henry. It's really good. It's really fun. Has, like, if you like the John Wick movies, it's kind of similar to that in its execution, I would say. It's just, like, a fun time.
I might check it out. As we know, I hate fun time.
I know. And then I watched all 3 Kung Fu Panda movies again.
Oh, nice.
Those are glorious.
I still don't think I've ever seen a third one.
So 1 and 2 I'd seen like multiple times, like growing up, because the first one came out when I was 11, the second one came out when I was 14, I think, and the third one came out when I was 17. I saw it when I was working at Outback. I saw it in the theaters with a couple of my coworkers. Okay. I remember really liking the third one. On rewatch, I still enjoy it, but it's like by far the weakest out of the 3. I still like the second the best, I think. I just think it's cool. And they all look really good. Even the 2008 one, it looks really good.
Yeah, I saw the first one a handful of times. I saw the second one once, maybe 4 years ago now. It doesn't feel like it, but it probably was. And I was going to watch the third one. I think it was like leading up to the third one coming out. Mm-hmm. But then I was just like, never watched it.
It's fair. But I really enjoy all of them. It's probably my favorite like animated trilogy. I think it's the most consistent out of like that, or I think How to Train Your Dragon's a pretty consistent trilogy as well.
I've only ever seen the first one of that, which I'm sure I've shared this story, but one day in the 7th grade, it was like the final day of school or something like that, and every single class is just like, we're going to watch a movie, and every single class picked that one. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. So like for the last like 2 or 3 days of school, we watched like the movie in like 2 halves in like every period, and it was just like, ugh.
I remember in middle school, we had like some school like sleepover thing because it was for like a project, and then we were staying over. It was like this small thing, and we could bring a movie and like vote on it. And we ended up with some random animated movie. I can't remember, but I remember I had brought iRobot, and I'm like, we gotta watch iRobot, guys. Nobody wanted to watch iRobot, so they're cowards. I also we did watch the sequel to Bad Ben. I don't remember if I don't know if you remember me talking about Bad Ben on the podcast. That was the one that was like a found footage film that was made for like $300 with one guy in it.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember you talking.
It was okay. That. Like it was enjoyable enough. It was fun to watch like a $300 movie.
Did you watch the like Anne Hathaway movie recently too? I might be getting it mixed up with that.
What Anne Hathaway movie?
The like Anne Hathaway, Be My Cat.
Oh yeah, I also watched that one.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago now, I think. But Bad or Ben, which is technically the third one in the series, I just didn't want to rent one of them. The second one and I think like the 6th one are like only for rent, and I'm like, I don't want to spend money on this.
I had to spend money on this.
I spent money on both of them.
No, I didn't. There's a free version of The Stupids uploaded to YouTube with Italian subtitles and low quality. I was like, fuck it.
I was just kind of laying in bed. I'm like, I'm just going to watch them both on my phone. So the easiest thing to do was just rent them. It was fine. I think I spent $7 on today's episode. I've gotten to the point that I just like, if something's not streaming, I don't like, I just rent it. It's just like, whatever. I've occasionally bought them, but I mostly just rent.
It depends. Mm-hmm. It depends. But I tried to not rent this, and the copy I downloaded had the audio out of sync, and I was like, fuck it. I'm not. I spent 30 minutes trying to find this copy. I'm just going to fucking spend $4 and rent it.
There's also a new movie called Moxie that was out. It was like a Netflix original movie. It's directed by Amy Poehler. It's based on like a novel about like a white girl discovering feminism in high school. It's fucking rough. It's like...
That sounds amazing.
It's like, I don't mind those stories. There are tons of really, really good like coming-of-age stories about like teenage girls like discovering feminism or whatever, but this one's so fucking rough. And like every single supporting character is like in the LGBT community or is disabled or is a minority, but all of them have no character whatsoever except that they are in those communities. And it's just like, it's so obviously just tokenism. And it's like so fucking rough. Because I'm like, this is way more disrespectful than like I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, white people, we have problems.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We've got
nothing but problems.
Yeah. But yeah, that was rough. Not as rough as either of today's movies, but I mean, The Stupids was fucking awesome. And yeah, that's about it. However, I do, right before you came here, my friend Danielle, she sent me a link on Twitter to Paste Magazine. Just did a countdown, a list of, they were ranking every single live-action video game adaptation. And I wanted to talk about it briefly, because there's 72 listings on here. The first couple listings are 71 listings. The first couple listings are movies I have not heard of. Number 69, the third one, is House of the Dead by Uwe Boll. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. That movie is so much, like, leagues better than some of this trash.
I mean, yeah. There's definitely Uwe Boll movies.
There are Uwe Boll movies that are worse. Like, Alone in the Dark is 2 places higher than that.
The Rampage movies. I mean, if you would even count those.
That's not even a video game movie.
Blood Rain.
Blood Rain 2 is up there. But Blood Rain 1, I'm like, where the fuck is Blood Rain 1?
What about Blood Rain 3? That one's supposedly, like, the worst.
Yeah, Blood Rain 2 is number 66.
He filmed Blubberella back-to-back with Blood Rain.
64 is Tekken 2. I think that should be lower. That movie's dreadful.
Where does that shitty animated Street Fighter movie fall?
This is all live-action ones.
Oh, live action. I see.
Uwe Boll's just all of these at the bottom. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is the sequel to the original Mortal Kombat live-action movie, is number 60. In the Name of the King 2 is 59. The Dead or Alive movie is 58. Let's see. What's the next one that I recognize that I've seen? Number 55 is In the Name of the King, A Dungeon Siege Tale. And I'm like, that movie is not that bad.
Yeah, like, it was... For an Uwe Boll movie...
I think we have to watch all 71 movies and make our own list.
What? Let me get my hair more messed up for...
Resident Evil Apocalypse is 52. This is the first one that we see on Resident Evil. And I want to say that's the second movie. And that's also bullshit. Because, like, that should be way lower. Let's see. Max Payne. I mostly want to see what number 1 is, but this fucking list is loading extremely slow.
Fucking stupid.
Assassin's Creed is number 43. Like, it's almost halfway up the list. And I'm just like, I haven't seen a lot of these other movies, but, like, I can see comparatively to where they're ranked. I'm like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at that Assassin's Creed movie, I would guess it's just
Blood Rain 3 is 41. It's way up.
Weird.
Okay, this Rampage, the Dwayne The Rock Johnson one that came out a few years ago, is 39, and I'm like, that's like top tier. It's not good, but it's like top tier in comparison.
Where does, like, the Tomb Raider movie and the Resident Evil movies rank?
Well, like, we saw Resident Evil 2 already. That was the first one. I think it was at like 52.
Oh, okay.
We're getting into ones that, like, aren't the worst, apparently. Warcraft is number 31. Need for Speed is number 30.
Ooh.
What have we... Okay, Resident Evil Afterlife is number 26.
It's the fourth one, right?
Yeah, which is, if I remember, the only one I liked. So, I'm just like, that means the rest are all above this. Now, Tekken is number 25. I can kind of get down with this because Tekken's one of the ones that I like. I think that movie's fun and silly and dumb. Dead Rising Watchtower, which is the first live-action Dead Rising movie, is number 24. I can also get down with that. That movie's not bad. It captures the essence pretty well. Now, this... I never understand why people like the Super Mario Brothers movie. Like, this is number 23. I mean... It's, like, not... I don't think it's the worst, but...
Yeah, I don't...
But I feel the same way about the Street Fighter.
I mean, does that movie... I mean, I assume any cult following it has would be probably ironic. Because even... I grew up watching that movie, I don't think it's good.
The Mario one?
Mm-hmm. And I know, like, everybody knows it's, like, a shit adaptation of Mario.
But then right after that is the Street Fighter live-action movie that I know people that legitimately, like, argue it's a really good movie. I'm like, what? 21, we finally got one of the Tomb Raider movies. We have the first one from 2001, the Angelina Jolie.
And they did 2 with her, right?
And then number 20 is the last Resident Evil movie, which was so fucking bad. Like, I don't get this movie. And then another Resident Evil movie. Why are these so high? And then the second Angelina Jolie Lara Croft movie, which I remember them being, like, fine. I was, like, a child when I last watched them, though. What? Apparently there are live-action Yokai Watch movies. And they're starting to hit the list now.
Oh, jeez.
I haven't seen those ones. Let's see. There's a... Okay. We're getting into it. Let's see. Number 14.
Doom.
The new Tomb Raider. Doom was way further back. The new Tomb Raider movie. That's number 14. I think that's fine. I think the movie's fine.
Yeah.
Number 13 is a murder mystery game that I've never heard of. So I'm skipping it. Number 12 is Resident Evil 1. That movie fucking sucks. I don't get it. It sucks. Number 11, Silent Hill. That's another movie. I don't understand why. Like, I don't think it's awful in comparison, but it's just like, what? Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Number 10, Sonic the Hedgehog. That movie fucking sucks. I hate it.
Sure.
Number 9, Fatal Frame, the movie. I haven't seen that one. That one's on next on my list because I really like Fatal Frame. Number 8, the new Monster Hunter movie, which I haven't seen, but it's Paul W.S. Anderson, so I doubt it's it should be number 8. Number 7 is the new Mortal Kombat. We'll see.
Supposedly, I heard that they're like, if this does successful, we've got 3 more.
Joe Toslin or whatever, I think that's his name, the guy who's from the Raid and is playing Sub-Zero, he signed on for 4 more movies. That was Ace Attorney is number 6. I can get down with that. It's a Takashi Miike film. He did a lot of the video game adaptations.
I was gonna say, they did a live action Ace Attorney.
Yeah, it came out 9 years ago, 2012. Detective Pikachu, number 5. I hate that movie. It sucks.
Didn't watch it. Because they didn't get fucking Danny DeVito to voice Pikachu.
Mirai Ninja? Never heard of it. Cyber Ninja apparently had a movie. You gotta watch that one. Neko Atsume House. That's number 3. Haven't seen it. Number 2. Paul W.S. Anderson's Mortal Kombat.
He did a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, that was the 1995 one that everyone loves. For some reason. And number 1 is Detention.
They did a movie for Detention? Is that the game that's based on the Chinese riots?
Apparently so.
Huh.
And this came out 2 years ago.
Huh. I mean, I'd want to play the game before I ever watched the movie, probably. I bought the game on Steam because I want to play it. But they did another game. I think it's called Devotion. But that same studio had another game that got fucking deleted because it made fun of the what's the name of the leader of China? Is it
Xi Jinping?
Yeah. They made fun of him, and then the game got fucking yeeted off of Steam.
My phone's about to die after reading that whole list. I'm going to grab my phone charger.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll go on to questions. But yeah, I just wanted to say that list is mostly bad.
Unfair. Alright, are you guys ready? We're going to talk about 2 Whoppers today. We're going to talk about 2 movies, both deep in conspiracy. I know, but I'm setting the mood. 2 conspiracy movies.
that was good. We got good.
Yeah.
It was good luck. I don't know if I would say it was good luck that we got these movies. But it was some kind of luck.
Yeah, some luck.
Give it just luck.
Need some Frenchy fries with me.
Okay. Alrighty. It's time for some questions from Pierre. Question 1. You are sent to another world and tasked with fighting evil, but you can only use one weapon, and you will be given a title based on that weapon. You must become the insert object here hero.
No.
Like the shield hero. You don't want a weapon, or you don't want to fight evil?
I refuse.
You refuse? Is that what you're just going to do with all of Pierre's questions now?
No, just isekai-related questions.
Oh, God. No isekai questions. I go
to the new world, and I do my best to...
And I take a nap.
I go, this is my new life.
I will be the heroine hero.
I'll go find a river to go take a nap in. I would be...
The piss hero.
The baker hero. I'd go be a baker. I'd make people's day.
And no evil would exist because everyone would be happy. Okay. Number 2. What is the worst thing to eat with cheese? Manure.
Probably cyanide.
Yeah.
Excellent. There's probably worse things.
Maybe let's go with something that's like not toxic.
Toothpaste. Well, if you eat a lot of toothpaste, it's toxic. You're not supposed to like swallow it.
I swallow my toothpaste every night.
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to swallow more than like recommended amounts.
Oh, okay.
Like if you like, so if you're out there like lost in a wild with only a thing of toothpaste, don't eat.
Don't eat it. Eat the plastic of the toothpaste.
Eat every part of the toothpaste container.
Except the toothpaste.
Minus the toothpaste.
Exactly. Well, you can eat a little bit of it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Ration it out.
Cheese and... I don't know. Cheese fits with a lot of things.
I mean, I wouldn't want, like... If I'm given, like, a real answer, I wouldn't want cheese on, like... ice cream or something like that.
Yo, cheese and ice cream is dope.
I'm sure you would think so.
Just dip some like cheddar into like vanilla. They're both dairy. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, they're both
When
dairy.
Joe was living here, our friend Melody was here, and I'm like, guys, you gotta try this. And I didn't think it was like good, but I didn't think it was terrible, but they fucking hated it. So they just started eating a bunch of ice cream with cheese.
Oh, lovely.
Because they were like, oh!
Fair.
That's just a classic thing I do, you know? I just love. But I don't know, cheese and haggis. Because I just don't want to eat haggis. Number 3. Do you think Joe Biden should color his hair? What color? Neon pink to support the girl bosses of the world.
The first thing that came to my mind was just him trying to paint it like black. Like it's like he's trying to make himself look younger. But I just pictured it.
But it's just
like,
his scalp that's black.
Oh, no, I just pictured it like one of those scenarios where he just has does a really bad job. Like someone working on it really fucks up and just ends up like dyeing a bunch of this like skin around where you could tell it just was like dripping down. But
yeah.
Probably... I think it'd be great if he like dyed his hair like bright orange and thought he just has a full-on episode where he thinks he's Ichigo from Bleach. It's like, the U.S. is under serious threat from the Soul Society.
Classic.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for the questions once again, Pierre. We worship you. All right, now, without further ado, it's time to get this fucking bag episode rolling. First up, a sick-ass 1996 Tom Arnold film, The Stupids.
The Stupids. Apparently it's based off a series of children's books, which I didn't really know going into it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't really matter, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never fucking...
It's like, so like, I was thinking throughout this whole fucking movie, I hate this type of humor so much. But then I'm like, wait. Like, of, like, people just being really fucking dumb and, like, accidentally stumbling upon success at every corner. But I'm like, I really like The Jerk, though. And that's exactly what happens in The Jerk. But The Jerk's funny.
See, The Jerk lives in a universe that is entirely slapstick, so it works a little more. This is, like, the opposite, where it's, like, they're slapstick characters that live in what's supposed to be, like, a normal world. So it just feels a little... like, it just doesn't... Theoretically, you would think it would work fine, but it just doesn't.
It's so rough. This movie's rough.
Yeah, and it's...
I hate you for this. No.
Also, the comedy in The Jerk is just much, much better executed than it is in this
Steve
movie.
Martin's also much better at acting than Tom Arnold.
And Carl Reiner is much better at comedy directing than
who fucking directed this movie?
I'm trying to think of ignorant director that led to murder John Landis.
Oh, yeah, it was John Landis. Yeah, fuck John Landis, too.
And his son Max Landis is in the movie in a brief cameo where he gets splashed by paint.
Max Landis is a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
Runs the family.
Yep. So...
It's just this movie's just a nightmare. It's just like... everywhere you go, it's just, hey, we're stupid. Ah,
all right.
We're gonna. Oh, there's somebody stealing our trash. Better chase down the trash truck. Oh, I'm at the dump. Oh, they're having a secret meeting where they're selling illegal arms.
Yeah, because I don't necessarily disagree, or I don't necessarily agree with your sentiment about like hating characters who are stupid that fail upwards.
Well, maybe I don't.
Buggy, and he's kind of he's that kind.
But that's it. That's it. Like, I don't think I actually do hate this. I think this movie just made me think I hated these things.
Yeah. So before we get into it, was there a single part of this movie that made you laugh once?
I like the idea behind a random song about being your own grandpa. I think it goes on too long, but like.
And then everyone in the audience is just like, yeah.
I think, like, the scenes... I didn't think it made me laugh. It kind of made me smirk, though. I also smirked it when he was being a bush.
Yeah, that was the one scene where I was
and like... And he's just suddenly like, I have an arm!
Yeah.
I'm the first walking bush! And then immediately, like, it went too... Like, it just went on a little too long. Like,
yeah.
But, like, yeah, so 2 smirks. It's still, like... I'm going to say it. Ghostmates is a better movie.
Yeah.
I might even go as far as saying that I liked Last of the Living more. But maybe not. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I don't know if I can go that far. I didn't find this movie that offensive, but...
It's offended my fucking anus.
But this movie's not good. Now, I guess let's add the caveat that this is a children's movie, I guess.
But is it?
I mean, I assume that's the target demographic.
I don't think kids would think this was funny.
I mean, I
feel like kids would think Tom Arnold's extremely scary to look at.
I mean, I can tell you that I watched this movie once as a kid, and then years later I decided to put it into a bag with movies that I thought were really bad. So clearly I didn't get much out of it as a kid outside of the dog and the cat, which,
Why is the dog...
They're both like...
Why are they...
They're not...
Stop motion.
Are they stop motion or were they like... the quality on the version I was watching...
I'm pretty sure they were stop motion. Also, the aliens. That was dumb.
Yeah, I didn't like the aliens.
It didn't culminate in anything. He said, lit him on fire.
Final... Because it gets set up, very early on into the movie... Or at least
also, there wasn't a dog and a cat, right? It was just a dog that they kept calling their cat.
No, there was a dog and a cat. There was a dog that they kept calling the cat, and then there was a cat that they called the dog. Because at the end scene, the dog's over there, and he does the Courage the Cowardly Dog thing, where he's like, and they're like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, dog or cat? And then the cat's meanwhile overseeing all of this while chilling in the pool. He's got a little floaty. He's got a little drink and some sunglasses.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Last half of this movie, I was zoning out. I'm like, holy shit, it's still gone. This movie feels really long. Because it's the same gag over and over and over.
I thought of another part that I found mildly amusing. I thought the whole joke that they were going for was overdone. It didn't need to go... The sequence didn't need to go on very long. But thinking that they had died and gone to heaven and that,
And then Lloyd.
The Lloyd. God bless the Lloyd. But Like, I thought that joke was mildly amusing. I was like, okay, cool. Like, but then, like, that whole sequence, they're, like, in the fucking, what do you call those things? The
elevator?
No, like the dome rooms with the
planetarium?
Yeah, they're in the planetarium for way too long, and then they get out and they do the Lloyd joke a couple more times, like callbacks to it, because there's like the part...
The dumb part, he's like, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, and then there's a part at the end where they get saved by the Floyd's guy, and they're like, he's like, I work for Floyd. And they're like, no, it's pronounced Lloyd. And he's like, no, it's Floyd. And they're like, no, it's Lloyd. And it's like, oh my god, just fucking end the goddamn movie already. But basically, if to anyone out there who wants to know the basic synopsis of this movie, there is a nuclear family called the Stupids.
Stanley Stupid.
Yeah. And they... I guess Stanley wakes up one day, notices that the trash is no longer in his trash can. His wife left him out on the curb, and he's like, oh no, our trash is stolen.
Again.
So he stakes out his trash can at night to see who steals it, follows the trash truck to the dump, where it just so happens that in this dump, there is some military personnel that are doing some shady shit, and Stanley has just stumbled into the middle of it. And then, yeah, basically, like, he successfully stumbles onto a conspiracy, and he's able to, like, evade all these, like, top-tier military men and assassins just by sheer stupid luck. And, yeah, that's the whole movie. And he's got his family in on the hijinks. The little kid who plays Alfalfa in the 90s Little Rascal movie is in it.
He is fantastic. Not really. Like, both the kids are fine. Better than Tom Arnold.
Yeah, fair. I was just watching this and I was like, man, this kind of almost makes me want to watch Little Rascals. I haven't watched that movie in a long time.
I haven't watched that movie since I was like 7.
Yeah. But as a kid, I was a fan of, like, pretty much all the Little Rascals that I saw. I watched, like, a lot of the old ones and shit.
I only saw that movie.
Fair.
I remember, like...
They did, like, a sequel a couple years ago. Or, like, a new Little Rascals movie. And I was like, But, fucking... Yeah, so it's just... Yeah, I don't know. They wind up turning out okay. They stop the conspiracy. They save the day. And they get to go back to their suburban house at the end. It's... Yeah, there's nothing fantastic about this movie. It's aimed at a child demographic, so I guess us critiquing it makes us a bunch of, like, sad losers.
I just fucking watched Kung Fu Panda and said it was incredible.
Yeah, but I guess you're not supposed to criticize kids' movies. But
yes, you are. Kids deserve something better than this.
I agree. Like,
you can criticize kids' movies all you fucking want. Yeah. And I will criticize John Landis till the day I fucking die.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I really don't have much to say about this movie.
It's garbage.
It's bad. It's just really lowbrow, basic humor that wouldn't even make a little kid laugh.
Yeah.
It's like, the best way to describe this movie's sense of humor is if you have, like, that really unfunny uncle who tries to make jokes all the time anyway. It's like that. The entire 90-minute runtime.
Yeah. All right.
Do we give this movie a 1?
Yeah. You would as well?
Yeah.
Now, before we get into the next movie, I forgot I wanted to tell you something. I saw Philip.
Oh, yeah. I think he was telling me about that.
Yeah, it might have been a week ago now. I might have meant to mention it on last week's podcast. I can't remember. But yeah, I didn't recognize him. And he's like, do you recognize me? I'm like, not at all. I'm like, because he was wearing a mask and I haven't seen him in so long.
Or I think, was Matt with him?
No, I don't. Maybe?
I want to say I talked to Matt and he said he had seen you, but he didn't bring up that he knew you because
he might. Okay, maybe I didn't know him.
Yeah.
Maybe he just saw it.
He's like, I saw him at the comic shop. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's where he works.
I work there.
And I'm like,
Philip listens to the podcast every week.
He does. Yeah, he listens to it while he's at work. Leave some questions, Philip.
Philip, come on whenever you want.
Yeah, Philip, come on.
We'll watch your
do a Mel
favorite
Brooks
movie,
episode.
Mel Brookman.
Yeah.
We'll cover silent
Men
movie.
in Tights and some other Mel Brooks movies, like silent movie. I remember.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Robin Hood either.
I watched like half of Robin Hood Men in Tights, and then it was fine. I felt like I was watching it, and I was like, "This is very close to the vibe of Princess Bride," but it also doesn't help that it stars the same guy. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, so, hi, Philip. Just wanted to say hi to Philip real quick. Okay, next movie, 9/11.
Always remember.
Doesn't need to be about 9/11. This doesn't need to be about 9/11.
Easily could have been about the devil in an elevator.
Yeah, by the way, if I hadn't put that into the bag, I was eventually going to pick 9/11 and Devil as a double feature.
I mean, I think
I saw the first half of Devil.
I think Devil isn't a good movie, but I don't think it's quite bag.
It's not 9/11 bag.
I have a specific idea of a standard for bag level.
Well, yeah, that's why I wasn't going to put it in the bag, but I thought it would be a funny double feature with 9/11 because they'd both be stuck in an elevator. Yeah, so 6 people get stuck on an elevator during 9/11. Whoopi Goldberg laughs at them the whole movie, and then everyone escapes except Charlie Sheen, who a random firefighter dies trying to save. Mm-hmm. And that's the movie.
Yeah, there's
it. We're not talking about it. It doesn't deserve. No, we're leaving. Yeah, this movie has a lot. It has a lot going for it in the way that it has nothing going for it. I was
gonna say it has a lot going for it.
It has a lot going for it in the opposite direction of good.
It's a cheap script that tries to milk an American tragedy for some simple movie drama.
And it's just like, there are random parts of the movie that just come out of fucking nowhere. Like, it's just like, okay, everybody's calm right now. So what if we make the black guy really racist towards brown people?
Just very
out of nowhere, and then drop it completely. It happens for 5 minutes. They have a conversation, and then they just don't bring it up. The only actual through line for the movie is that Charlie Sheen and his wife are getting a divorce, but they still love each other, and they're slowly getting better while in this elevator, and then he dies. The movie continuously forgets about its other, female character in the elevator.
Yeah.
She's she's taking pills.
There's one scene where she takes pills. There's another scene where she freaks out because the one guy says she's a 10. And then she's like, what does that mean? And he's like, fuck. And then she helps him out when he's having his little anxiety attack. And then she's basically just in the background for the rest. She has that one scene where she yells, get down to the floor! Everyone lay down! Because earlier in the movie, Charlie Sheen tells this story when they first get trapped in the elevator. And someone's like, what if it falls? And he's like, well, I heard this story from the 1940s. About this woman who fell 20 stories in an elevator and she survived by laying flat on the ground and she didn't break a single bone. And they're like, that sounds like bullshit. And we kind of see what would happen realistically if you were to lie down on the floor while an elevator falls. I don't know. I don't think it would look like it looked in the movie.
I think that you definitely have a higher chance of surviving than if you're standing, I guess. But
yeah. I like how
that was a funny fucking scene, though.
It falls, and then they're trying to convey that the gravity would be lifting them up, so they just stand up. Yeah. And it's they would be up in the position that they were lying down. They would probably be cradled up. That's what I would do.
Yeah. But no, they're just it's just oh, and then it shows Eve, I think her name is. Is it Eve? That's Charlie Sheen's wife.
I didn't bother to learn any of their fucking names. I'm just gonna call them by their archetypes. No, Charlie
Eve.
Sheen.
Richmond.
Charlie Sheen's wife, because I don't know any other actor's name in this movie besides Charlie Sheen, Whoopi Goldberg, and I don't...
Luis Guzman?
Yeah, I could... never remember.
That guy's really funny because
he's in lots of good stuff.
in lots of good stuff, and he's always like small, like pretty good bit parts. Like he's in a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson movies, and it's just like I feel pretty similar to when I was talking about Michael Pena, I think last week. Yeah, it's like he deserves to be in good things, and he just isn't.
Yeah, I want.
Like, I don't think he's a bad actor. He's pretty bad in this, but he might be the best out of everyone in it. Like, Whoopi Goldberg's fucking a nightmare in this movie. Yes. Every scene, it looks like she's about to start, like, laughing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? Charlie Sheen's, like, hilariously bad in this movie, especially when he starts yelling later on. Because I'm like, is he trying to do a Batman voice or something? He's like, get out of here.
No, I think he's just...
He was just old and has done drugs too much of his life.
Leaning too hard. And, clearly, this is like after the fallout of 2.5 Men,
and him being a complete piece of shit.
Oh, well, I mean that perpetual thing going on through his whole career. But it finally caught up to him at a certain point. Well, probably too late. He had already made beyond millions.
Yeah, I don't even know why he was in this movie. Like,
well, because he got kicked off the sitcom.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He can just go to home.
He probably.
He just go home and do drugs all day.
He might have lost all of his money. We don't know.
Maybe.
It tends to be a common theme in a lot of those celebrity cases. Nick Cage lost all of his money.
Yeah, but he's fine now. Yeah, he was just like, I'm gonna buy an octopus skull. I'm gonna buy Castle. Like, Nick Cage is at least funny that he was so reckless with his money.
Yeah. Why couldn't we watch the Nick Cage 9/11 movie instead?
That one has Nick Cage and Michael Pena, and they're just stuck under the rubble like the entire movie, and they're just talking, which I think is actually a pretty interesting idea. Like, even the idea for this movie, I'm like, hey, being stuck in an elevator is really cool. You can have some really cool character moments, and it's just like nothing. It's all the dialogue in this movie is fucking awful.
Yeah, no, there's a scene where the one guy turns out to be extremely racist and homophobic. And then there's another part where he then starts leaning into the whole, like, classism thing. And they're like, oh my god, you can't just because we have more money than you doesn't mean you can assume that we haven't been through hell.
The movie really leans into, like, a sympathetic tone towards Charlie Sheen's character, who's a billionaire. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like,
especially because he literally says to Louis Guzman's character, is like, hey, if we get out of here and you want to keep gambling and throwing your life's money away, I got your back. He, like, says that. I'm like, what? Like, you're going to bankroll his crippling addiction? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, he implied that he was going to toss in some wins in there, but we all know how wins work.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why wouldn't you just give him money and help him get to rehab for this or something? This doesn't make any sense. You're like, no, I'm going to keep you addicted to gambling.
Yep. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of, like, relevant things to talk about. Obviously, Charlie Sheen. 9/11 truther.
Which, like, you know, whatever. Believe what you want. Like, that's not a big... That's probably, like, the least edgy conspiracy theory of the big ones, I guess. Like, I'm like, whatever. But it's just so funny that he's in this movie.
Yeah, no
I'm
kidding.
Just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it's just like... Like... Just watch this drive. That's all I think about when I think about 9/11. That video of George Bush golfing. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, this movie's bad. I just don't... I don't know what else to say. Like, it's a stock script. The
effects, like, there's very few effects in it, but the ones that are there are fucking awful. Like the weird CG cables on the elevator, and when Eve walks outside and it's all like foggy from all the dust and stuff, it's like so obviously just overlaid over the screen.
Yeah. Like, it's just bad from a production standpoint. It looks like a Lifetime made for TV movie. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just bad from a production standpoint. It looks like a Lifetime made for TV movie. Like, it's just bad from a production standpoint. It looks like a Lifetime made for TV movie. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just bad from a production standpoint. It looks like a Lifetime made for TV movie. And yeah, I guess let's talk about the ending, I guess, where his wife
gets out through like the janitor's closet, and then they all fall down, and then she's like, oh, they're still alive, and then a firefighter helps them all out, but then Charlie Sheen, the elevator goes down even more.
The movie, so like this firefighter, he sticks around, he realizes the building's like about to fall.
But he's like, I've gotten people out of worse.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the movie was when he said that line, because it was the only part of the movie where I was like, I genuinely got like at least a spark of something, and I was like, oh.
Well, like that guy's incredible at acting.
I was like, yeah, like that feels like a decent, like you could tell he felt like this is a fuck situation.
It sounds like a firefighter thing to say.
And I like that this movie at the end was like dedicated to the firefighters and like the victims, and it's like
was it? No,
it's like, okay, I would have liked more if you would actually then focused on some of the first responders,
like World Trade Center, about firefighters and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, I think that
Nick Cage might be a cop in it. I can't remember.
Like obviously, like the first responders in that situation were like,
yeah,
good.
Like, hey, there's people in an elevator.
A lot of
Whoopi Goldberg.
A lot of people fucking went in, risked their lives. A lot of them didn't come out, and it's shitty because even to today, they're suffering, fucking health repercussions that just last year our fucking Senate wouldn't approve fucking funds for them, and it's just like, if not for them, then who? Yeah,
it's like never forget, and it's like never forget is just like, hey, never forget to be extremely racist to people. Yeah. But we're going to forget about, the people that were actually there.
I almost thought the film was going to get into that when they made the one character racist against, like, the...
But no, he's just
cab drivers. But no, they never dive into that sort of commentary.
They drop it, yeah. And the classism angle, they drop it. They drop everything that could be meaningful or interesting, just straight on.
I like how before the second plane hit, every time they brought up, like, a plane hit the building, they refer to it as a little plane hit the building. And it's like, I feel like people wouldn't have put it like that. Yeah. They would have said a plane hit the building, and most people would have just assumed at that point that it was like a private little plane.
Yeah. Because if it was a giant plane, I don't think the building would be there. Or at least I don't think they'd be alive in that elevator.
Most people wouldn't assume that. Which, I don't. Because obviously, these people are fictional in the movie, but I don't know, like, there were actually people trapped in the elevator in the...
I'm sure there were. Yeah. Like, I'm sure there were a decent amount of people. I'm sure that's a lot of people did die in the elevators, but it was just...
There was a scene before the whole elevator thing even began where, like, he's getting in the elevator with his wife, and there's, like, this lady that's like, are you guys, like... Did she say going up or going down? I think she said
going down. He said eventually, because they had accidentally gotten on an elevator that was going up first.
And she, like, just kind of, like, steps back. And I was thinking 2.5 Men. I was totally expecting Charlie Sheen to just, like, put his hand out and stop the elevator and, like, follow her out. But it didn't happen. I almost wondered...
When you said this, I thought she was going to slap her in the face.
No. I meant the elevator door. I guess I should have specified before I fucking immediately... So a woman walked on screen and fucking...
Charlie Sheen knew what to do. Because Charlie Sheen's the worst. We watched a lot of movies with, like, the worst people today.
We did. Fucking... But I almost wonder if that was, like, intentional. Because I feel like most people who watch... At least this, we're probably watching it because they're like, oh, Charlie Sheen.
I love 2.5 Men.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder if people, like, saw that and that was meant to, like, play on the expectations of his character in real life and from 2.5 Men. But then it's like, no, this is dramatic movie. He stay on elevator with his wife he's trying to get back. I don't know. This movie's bad. I just... Yeah, I feel like I've already summed up all my points about it. Looks bad.
It looks bad. It sounds bad. It's poorly written.
Charlie Sheen's in it.
Charlie Sheen's in it.
So is Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. Do you not like Whoopi Goldberg?
I'm not the biggest Whoopi Goldberg.
She's in Sister Act.
She is.
That's a good movie.
I think she's a fine actor. A lot of my Whoopi distaste comes from The View.
It's fair. I haven't seen it, but that's right.
I had, to be fair, I haven't sat down and watched episodes of it.
That should be in the bags.
Just a full season of View.
All right. Yeah, I think you're going to give this one a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to give it a 1.
Yeah.
All ones.
All ones. Yeah. This was worse than the first bag episode, I think.
Yeah.
What did we watch for the first?
It was Dracula 3000 epic movie.
Yeah, and I mean, I think epic movie might be worse than both of these, but Dracula 3000, like, I didn't but you remember what I said. Like, it was more enjoyable than any of them.
There's a certain level of entertainment value with that movie that does not exist for the movies we watch today. I don't care how big those aliens' noses were.
But hopefully you like this next week, because it is time for another director deep dive. We are going to be covering a Japanese director. His name is Hirokazu Koreeda. He is most notable for probably his last movie right now, Shoplifters. That came out 2018. But we're going to be watching Nobody Knows, Still Walking, Like Father, Like Son, Our Little Sister, and Shoplifters.
Okay.
For those 5.
Well, yeah. I look forward to it, because I've been meaning to watch Shoplifters for 4 years now.
Since before it came out.
Oh, I thought it came out 2016.
2018.
3 years now.
Okay, yeah, so hopefully that'll be better. And then, yeah. Yeah, today was rough.
Yeah, but
we endure.
Yeah, this is what we get for wanting a bag episode for so long. And thank the Family Guy is still on there. Yeah. I tried to watch a Family Guy episode the other day. Sometimes when the boys are over and we can't decide what we do, I'll just put on 10 minutes of a Family Guy episode and be like, holy shit. I always put on the newest episode too. I'm just like, oh my god. Yeah, no, I capped out many seasons ago with that series, and I don't even know why I stuck around as long as I did. But yeah, it's one day we'll get it. One day soon. All right, goodbye everyone. We'll see you next time on Scroll Runs.